001.
Yay! We got 001! It's recording this time, dudes! Like, holy cow! Hello, folks! It's Blind I'm here with another edition of the Awesome Sauce Comics Podcast. And today we're going to be playing a good interview with my good friend Sal Benetti from AlexRossArt.com. Alex Ross is the legendary artist on such things as Marvels, Kingdom Come, Batman Harley Quinn, one of the greatest Harley Quinn covers of all time. Yeah. Testify. Awesome sauce. Just want to do some house cleaning notes. I also want to give a nice big shout out to my best friend in the world. Hey Jessica, how you doing? Welcome home from vacation. Glad you got home safe. And I'll give you a call either later on tonight or tomorrow. I'd like to give a special shout out to a sponsor real quick. B&J Bagels. For all your bagel needs in the town of Ramsey, New Jersey, 07446. Go to B&J Bagels, 84 East Main Street, Ramsey, New Jersey, 07446, 201-962-8600. And get a bagel, butter, cream cheese, bagels, any way you like them. They got other awesome things besides bagels. Tell Santa Blind Adam sent you. But Santa, I want to thank you for being a really, really good friend to me, a really good friend to the podcast. I love you, man. Your food is awesome. Once again, that's B&J Bagels, 84 East Main Street, Ramsey, New Jersey, 07446, 201-962-8600. Now with all that out of the way, like I said, I'm in the process of moving into my new studio this next upcoming week, from say Thursday on. I have a meeting with the powers that be tomorrow. The powers that be are gonna come and grab me. Maybe they may just lock me away. I don't know. But all kidding aside, I do have a meeting tomorrow. I have gonna be moving. So if episodes are a little bit sporadic, I'd like to apologize in advance. And with that being said, here's Sal with the interview. And I can just put that in the post, so I'm fine there. This is Blind Adam with the Awesome Sauce Comics Podcast, and I am here with a good friend of the show, the head man over at AlexRossArt.com, Sal Benetti. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing alright, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I figured I haven't heard you on Geeks for a while, so I figured I would just take the liberty and have you on my show.
Yeah, I don't hear from those guys anymore. I don't know if they, I don't know what the story is. I always have it's an open invitation anytime, but, I guess everybody's busy now.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like I said, I haven't heard from them in about, I'm going to say, since the unfortunate passing of Jamie.
Yeah, it seemed like when we lost Jamie, things changed a lot. Plus Brian and Peter kind of went on their own, and Vance was holding it together for a while, but no, I haven't talked to those guys. I think it's been like a year now.
Yeah, when I start doing my podcast, I reached out to them several times with no response, even just to get help with the message board. So I hope it.
Good luck with your podcast. You need any help, you need any sponsorship, you need anything like that, just let me know.
Thank you so much, Sal. I mean,
it's important. Anybody that's anything that's connected to the comic business, or this is like our thing. This is stuff we don't apologize for. People that aren't into it don't always really understand. They get a false perception sometimes. From stuff they see on television, they think, if you're in the comics, if there's something wrong with your development, and it's just not the case. And, so when you've got people like yourself that are into it, you're trying to promote it, do your own thing, we really got to help each other out.
Yeah, right. Comic books saved me. I tell the story all the time that I was feeling really sorry for myself when I first started losing my vision. And this girl in the wheelchair comes and hands me Daredevil number 168. And she goes, "Don't you fucking feel sorry for yourself? This is a blind superhero." Puts it in front of me, and I was just like, looked at Matt Murdock, and I was like, holy crap.
It's a lot of things for a lot of people. I mean, even as an artist, that people go into it for a lot of different reasons. And a lot of them are only good. I mean, I went into comics because I got into a lot of trouble as a kid, and they pretty much saved my life as well. I mean, I discovered them, and it got me into art, and I used them as an escape at a really young age. And, I find, you talk to everybody from creators to writers to just, people that are into them, just to read them. And everybody's got their own story. And more often than not, they got a story of, something similar to people that just gravitated towards it for a lot of different reasons.
Definitely. So, just because I've heard your story a couple of times before, but how did you get involved with Alex?
Actually, we both worked in advertising together, kind of at the Chip Burnett, and we kind of knew a lot of the same people. We ran in the same circles without ever knowing each other too directly. And then I ran across him once at the comic store, Haley's Comics here in Chicago. It's a store, really a great comic store we used to have. They're not there anymore. It's kind of one house. But it was a great local comic store, a lot of indie stuff. And we started talking because we're mutual friends with the owner. And we just kind of became friends that way, loosely. And I, of course, was familiar with his work from Marvel's. And we became friends. And little by little, he asked me to help him out a little bit with some things. And I was working on websites at the time. I was designing websites, kind of helping out a little bit here and there. And then one thing led to another. And that was 16 years ago. And then we started working together. And if I would consider, handling some of his originals, and of course, I treated it like a man, Rocky, when he wanted to, follow free. I wasn't thrilled about doing it because, at the time, you gotta remember in the 70s and the 80s, and the 90s as well, art dealers, they weren't cool with the art. I mean, they treated the art like it was just another commodity. It was thrown on tables and plastic bins.
Not even at some points.
Questions. It was really they didn't seem to have a lot of reverence for the art. And I kind of didn't want to go down that route. With Alex, I realized there's something completely different that we can do here. Because he was doing the pagan comics. And so he said, hey, if that's what you want to do, go that way. And then he came to we had a really good relationship because we were friends anyway. But then we were friends and then we also had a good business relationship. So he was always really open to any ideas I had, and it just worked out great. And of course, selling his art isn't too much of a stretch.
Yeah.
You guys are prolific artists, so it wasn't like I had to, it's kind of like selling ice festivals. It wasn't real hard.
Yes, I've always been a big fan of Alex's art, and ever since I guess I discovered it with Kingdom Come.
Yeah. Yeah, he asked me to use a photo reference for Captain Marvel. That was his revenge.
Really?
Yeah. If you look at that and Power of Hope, and I became Captain Marvel all these years. Of course, there was a couple of kids ago. So you put on what you found after you get married. It's not you don't have much luck into that costume.
Alright, so you telling me that I shouldn't propose to my girlfriend because I'm going to gain weight?
Well, how old are you?
I actually just turned 40.
Oh, you're okay, but I hate to tell you, but it's downhill from here on. Because your metabolism goes to shit, and then you just start gaining more weight because your lifestyle slows down,
myself here anyways, ever since,
Yeah, be sure you take care of yourself because it's harder as you get older, man. You go from like, trying to remember what it was like, to one day you just kind of like, wow, what happened? But a lot of it is taking care of yourself is 75% of it, but the other 25% is just as you get older, your lifestyle changes. Just you eat more, you take it easy more, and you kind of let your shit go, I think, from the older.
Alright, I guess that makes perfect sense.
You'll be alright. Just stay away from barbecue. That's my weakness.
Okay, I guess my weakness is, and I discovered this when I went to the seeing eye dog school up in Michigan during the winter. Don't know why the hell I did that.
Well, no, you gotta have an Achilles heel, right? What's your weakness? Everybody's got a weakness.
Pizza.
Potato chips or gyros.
Pizza is my weakness.
Pizza, there you go. See, everybody's got something that kind of like kryptonite. With me, it's potato chips. They're in the house. I'm like a cadaver dog. I gotta find them. I gotta have them. And it just, you kind of like, I've got to the point where I'm like a heroin addict. I can't have it around or I can't even buy it, even just have a little bit. I need to like it. You gotta finish the whole thing.
Yeah, I like that with pizza too. There's this one.
You're gonna need it.
Yep. And
you didn't go out the same day this year. Now, did you go out last year or no?
Last year I went out was 2012. Basically what happened was I lost most of the sight in my left eye, and then I had an accident, and I went to a training center for people with visual impairments after that. And I wasn't in the training program ran through San Diego 1 year, and ever since then it's just been a pain in the ass to get back in.
Yeah.
Because once the tickets go on sale for the lovely ID system that they have,
well, you gotta email me next year. We'll take care of you next year if it passes.
Alright, thank you. Because,
you can't play games with that. The lottery system it's a necessary evil, because of the way it is, the way you've got, way more people than they can accommodate. But at the same time, you've got people like us that have been into this stuff forever, and, Comic-Con is almost like a rite of passage for us. It's different for me because I'm there working, but even still, if I wasn't there working, I would still be going. I'd be going to Comic-Con. This was my 22nd year, 23rd.
Yeah, next year will be my, if I didn't have anything interrupted, next year would be my 20th San Diego.
Yeah, we've been going since, we went just because that was what we did. When I was there in the 90s, I was there walking around my portfolio, trying to get work, and I slept in a bathtub. Because there were buzzing up, and buzzing in a room, and there were 12 of us, 13 with me, and none of us had any money. We never competition, but we did it because we loved it and we wanted to be there.
this, B and C list, celebrities, and then you now have your studios, and I wanted to go out this year for, hey, I just started the podcast. I was like, this is like the interviewing gold mine for every cast member of, like, say, The Flash and Arrow I knew was going to be there.
Yeah. No, it's become, in some ways, change is good. What happened, a lot of people are against it, a lot of people are for it. I think everybody's right both ways. I kind of see the point of people that don't like it the way it is now, but the biggest difference now is that there's a million shows. I mean, you got a show every weekend if you want. I mean, every city. Chicago's got two. You got Wizard, which is gone to shit.
Wizard, don't get me started on Wizard. I went to their Philly version of that, and their Philly show used to be great, but I went last year and I was like, why did I waste my time?
No, well, Philly used to be a great show. We used to go to the Wizard Philly show every year, and it was my favorite show. Right there, across from the reading station, the reading room, it was like they had that big plaza, and it was station, and it's gone to shit. The one in Chicago is the same way. There's no exhibitors there anymore. It's just a giant autograph session. And I always feel bad for people that go, that want to experience a con, and they go, okay, this is it. This is what they're talking about. Because the Wizard shows, and unfortunately, my last one was when he hired Blagojevich, our governor, the Illinois governor who got locked up.
That's he.
Yeah, he had him there doing a signing. And I said, this is it for me. I'll never do this show again, because why don't you just have OJ? Because you're catering to the lowest common denominator, and you're turning it into a freak show.
See,
I understand business is business, but they just turned it into more of a swap meet. It's become a giant swap meet.
And if you're going out shopping for comics, it sucks.
No, there's hardly any retailers either. I brought my son, we were going to buy some comics, and they didn't even have any retail. There was exactly the sawdust on the floor, for Christ's sake. That being said, you can count them all over the country now.
Definitely.
Still one up in Green Bay, you got them everywhere, but there's a lot of great shows now, smaller ones that popped up, like Boston, and the one in Denver. I heard is good. Seattle has always been terrific.
I actually want to go to that next year. I'm actually thinking maybe setting up for my combo podcast retail that I've been doing on a smaller basis here.
Yeah, that's terrific. I mean, it's growing every year. Now that we took it over, I'm sure they'll really kick it in the ass. I wish they would want to come back to San Francisco. They're doing really well in Anaheim. The one in LA, I haven't heard that much good things about that Kamikaze show. There's so many good shows. Dallas is a good show. And Expo in Toronto is terrific. I mean, all the Canadian shows that I've gone to have all been terrific. Calgary, Vancouver, like I said, Fan Expo in Toronto.
Yeah,
it's terrific. And I mean, terrific in a way that you want to go see things that they don't all have. Like, you don't need another T-shirt on. You go to somebody and all they got a T-shirt. You want to have a nice balance of, cosplay, celebrities, comics, gaming. So you kind of got a nice, a broad area. Where somebody that just turning into, autograph session. That's what happened with Wizard. It's much cheaper to just bring the celebrities and give them autograph guarantees than it is to actually fly in guests, like, comic book people.
That's fascinating, because my whole thing with Wizard is, I looked at, all the ones that they had throughout the country the next couple months, and it just seems like it's the same. It's not a problem with their guest list. It's the same show everywhere.
See, well, here's the best thing about Wizard is that they advertise it like it's a regular show. They advertise it like it's a show that you've gone to for years. But when you get there, it's not the same show. You don't have DC Comics isn't there, Marvel's not there, Dark Horse. I mean, nobody's there anymore other than, Tootie from Facts of Life. or, the guy.
Rudy from the Cosby Show. Wizard World Philly was Rudy from the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this is what really pissed me off was the two celebrities that I wanted were sold out. Like, Stephen Amell from Arrow and one of the chicks from Arrow. I think it was the chick that plays the Black Canary.
Yeah.
And I was like, you couldn't send someone an email? After the fact, I took like a 3-hour train ride.
Yeah. No, you really got to do your research with these, and I mean, because, let the buyer beware. It's not every time it's advertised is the one you want to go to, because you've got some shows that are really kind of a waste of time, and they're not cheap to get into anymore.
No.
And, if you're going to spend the money to travel and parking and lunch and, to get in, and you get there and they're really not what you expected or not what they advertise, you still take it. So, like I'm telling you, you really got to kind of do your homework a little bit, go online and see what exactly they're talking about. When they say, oh, we're a con, it's like, well, there's cons and there's cons. And not all of them are legitimate. A lot of them are just, are celebrities, charging $35 for a photograph. A lot of, when they advertise certain celebrities, people are under the delusion that they're going to get to hang out with Carrie Fisher. And it's like, well, Carrie Fisher charges $35.
Actually, I think Carrie's now $50.
Yeah, a lot of them are up to 70. I mean, the guy from Walking Dead and all that. I don't know if guys, the guy with the hillbilly with the crossbow, that's up to 70. Even Stan Lee up to $75. Now, Stan, I can understand it because, the guy's like the president when he goes to a comic show. But, a lot of people don't realize when they get to a con that stuff's all they're going to charge you additionally for all that stuff.
Yep. I know, Boston is, Stan Lee's going to be, Stan was like $80 for an autograph.
Well, now cosplay is charging. After the first time I've ever seen this year at San Diego, you had cosplay people charging to take the picture.
That's because people are starting. I actually been on that bandwagon for years because I got sick and tired of watching a couple of my friends put all the work into their costumes and not get. I was just like, can you tip them like $1 for taking a picture with you?
Yeah, no, they're charging. They're starting to charge now. Just like the Korean lady dressed up as Mickey Mouse in Times Square. You want to take a picture with them, they want to get a tip. They call it a tip, but in the reality of it, they're charging. And with certain cosplay, you're like, hey, great, guys, this is America. They're going to do what they want, but if you're going to start charging, they're going to start to run into problems with permits and everything else, because like I said at that time, especially in San Diego, you've got permits, you got Board of Equalization. California, I give them, you got to pay tax.
That, and you have to get the tax ID number and all that, and special.
You got to have a tax ID number, so, and then again, that's what I'm saying, is if you haven't stand going to a con, you got to kind of do your research that there's more there that you can see than just everybody who's charging something. For some shows, when you subtract the people that are charging, there isn't much left of a family experience if you want to walk around with your kids. C2E2 is good like that. Well, there's lots of kids C2E2. Even though they have the signatures and they have the autograph there where the charges, still got to see a very small press. You got publishers.
Is C2E2 from the Ever Read show?
I'm sorry?
So the C2E2, the Ever Read Pop convention?
Yeah, C2E2 is another read show.
Alright.
Again, it's in downtown, which is great. It's a catch-22. Yeah, it's more expensive downtown, but there's so many hotels in downtown Chicago. Now it's fine, something inexpensive. There's a lot more restaurants. You're right near Chinatown. You're right near the Loop. There's a lot more to see. It's a time of year when the weather's still, tolerable. So up to 2, there's no comparison. I mean, C2E2 is a real town show, and the one that out in Rosemont is like a
show her what I did, and then she got all excited because, you know, everything that she wanted to see or meet was like sold out or just such a cluster F.
Yeah, just try to, you know, like I said, try to do your homework a little bit. Pick your spot, because not every show's a good show. I mean, I hear others complaining about they went here, they went there, they lost money, they lost it. You're not going to make money at every time. You're not going to have a great experience at every time. Because some bring a lot more to the table than others. And especially with a budget, you're going to lay your year out, and you're going to figure out which shows you want to do and you're not going to do. There are some that are just, you know, clearly, you know, you're better off doing than others. And I would avoid the smaller ones that aren't going to give you as much, but are sure as hell going to charge you as much. Because they're not cheap, or even local ones. I mean, go to smaller ones. You know, there's a lot of local cons that local comic stores run and have festivals and things like that. Because that's what's great about some of the shows I do overseas is that the government, you know, subsidize them as art festivals. You go there and there's a lot to see outside of just people that pay money to have a booth there. And that's what I think San Diego, in my opinion, is missing the boat with Comic-Con, is that they should do more in the Gaslamp quarter. They shut down the street, or at least fifth, the main artery right down the center of the Gaslamp. Because you're getting such an overflow of people now that come out to Comic-Con that don't have tickets. They just come down to see the show or the people watch. And there's an enormous amount of street traffic. So it's like, why don't you utilize that as part of the con and have tents with sponsors and vendors and food and, you know, and Lord knows you have no shortage of sponsors. Because there's a lot of Hollywood people and industry people that would love to have a booth, but they just can't get it. But you can have some outside.
Yeah, I mean, I was told the last, I think it was last year, it's what, like a 5-year waiting list for San Diego now to get seats?
You know, let me tell you, the waiting list thing is kind of it's a rigged poker game, you know, it's a rigged poker game because everybody wants to expand, and yet you can't because there's just no more room. They're never going to expand that hall because there's really no point for them to blow out the back of the hall and ruin the marina for one show a year. Because Comic-Con is the only show all year long that fills up that entire hall.
San Diego was.
San Diego just didn't see the point of going in and spending, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars to expand the hall when, you know, you're talking about once a year. But yet, in my opinion, you know, Lord knows they don't ask me, there's so much more that they're doing with the city now that I think is going to just keep growing every year. Because for me, San Diego is the perfect storm. It's just the perfect setting and location for a con. And it's the perfect time of year. It's proximity to LA. You know, it's proximity to, you know, the rest of the country where you can get direct flights from New York and where people come from overseas. So when I hear this nonsense about, oh, they're going to move to Vegas, they're going to move to Anaheim, they're going to move to, I think it's ridiculous.
I just don't think it would work.
July. I mean, it's 120 degrees in Las Vegas in July.
Yep.
I mean, and people go to Vegas for broads and to gamble. You know, they don't go there. You know, they go for broads, booze, and gambling. They don't go there for, you know, fact issues of double dinosaurs.
Very true. Unless you got something warped in your brain like me who would go there for all of the above, but that's like very rare.
Well, I hear they're going to move. I think you can't be serious because it's such a perfect place for a con.
Yeah, definitely.
When I hear that nonsense about how comic people don't spend money and everything, like,
that's bullshit. Because everyone I talk to who went,
I go to, every bar I go to, every hotel you go to is booked, and the restaurants are full, and people are outside, and everybody's spending money. And yeah, sure, you got a lot of tire kickers. You got people that go there that are just there to see a freak show in their mind, because the media, you know, the local San Diego media, you know, perpetuates it like it's some kind of a, you know, like we're having a Boy Scout jamboree or something, where they don't realize how much business is done there, and how much money is spent there, and how many big studios are there, and how many A-list people are there with, you know, agendas. And the business we do there is that's world class. They're completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that being said, there's a lot of people that are pissed about it. Like you said at the beginning of the conversation, you got a great point. You want to go, you can't get in. And you should be able to get in, you know, but it's become, you know, we're a victim of our own success with this stuff.
Exactly. I mean, I actually am just times I'm a little more annoyed that New York Comic Con with not being able to get in than San Diego.
Yeah, New York, well, you know, for me, it's always going to be New York and San Diego. I mean, you know, San Diego, of course, is the king. They look down at the rest of the shows from Olympus as far as I'm concerned. And when I do Luton, the show in Italy, I mean, they had 450,000 people at Luton.
Wow.
Last year, they almost had 500,000 people there. It's still, as great as that is, and as great as Luca is, it's not San Diego. There's San Diego and there's everybody else. New York Comic Con is terrific because that's where the industry is, and New York is king in my book in terms of the greatest cities in the world. But it's still, if you're going to do 2 shows a year, it's New York and San Diego. But that being said, if you can, there's a lot of shows that are a close second. Emerald Con, Dallas is a great show. Toronto is just spectacular in terms of the guest list, in terms of Canada and shows in Canada. They're so rabid for comics and such big fans of indie titles and comics as an art form that your experience in any of those Canadian shows, you know, never lets you down. And especially like, Star Wars Celebration is another one like that. I'm not the biggest Star Wars guy in the world. I like Star Wars, where we all do, but I went to Celebration this year in Anaheim, and it was unbelievable. The response and the kind of the overview of the fan base was what shocked me the most. The people that came from all over the world.
Wow. I didn't hear about the Celebration this year until it was too late. I think I read about it like
Star Wars this year. We did a bunch of covers, and we did. We were invited artists, which you have to kind of to set up there. You have to kind of get vetted through Lucasfilm, and they were nice enough to extend an invitation for us to set up there.
That's awesome.
Let's check it out. You know, I mean, the last one was in Japan. Next year it's in London, and it's way too close to Comic Con. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to go next year because it's just I can't go right from Celebration to Comic Con or not.
Excuse me, Sal. When did Alex start doing covers for Star Wars again? Because didn't he have a few movies at one point?
Alex did Star Wars #1, and then he subsequently went on and he did a bunch of he did the Star Wars #1, which was the Shaken recreation. He did Darth Vader. He did Lando Calrissian. He did about 80, I want to say, and we did a special Star Wars Celebration piece. And so we figured, you know what, why not? We'll try it. And it was unbelievable. I mean, it was crazy how popular and how great that show was. And I'm not even the biggest Star Wars fan.
Same here.
Don't get me wrong, I love Star Wars, but I'm not the guy who dresses up, you know, as Boba Fett and stands in line. I mean, there were people that were sleeping on the sidewalk all night to get into the J.J. Abrams panel the next day.
I heard about that.
You know the VIP tickets, you know, most VIP tickets at shows are like, what are they, 50, 100, a couple $100?
Yeah, 200.
They had VIP tickets at Celebration that were $4,000.
Holy crap!
Yeah, that got you like in the front row of every panel, and got you in the front row of every signing. I mean, and I think it's cool, but $4,000 I thought was a little extreme. But there were plenty of people paying it.
Wow, that.
Yeah. There were plenty of people paying it because they were first guys into the show, the first guys at every piano, and I think, okay, you know, I can see that, you know, for sure, but I just thought it was a little extreme, $4,000. But hey, what do I?
Actually, you just did something that's never been done on the podcast, on the Awesome Sauce Comics podcast before. You just blew my mind.
You know, it doesn't take much to blow my mind anymore at the shows. You see some of this stuff, but guys that I think had plenty of masturbation material after that one.
Oh, definitely. It just wasn't my thing. Still is.
So, am I going to see you at any shows the rest of the year, or no?
You'll see me at New York. And, I have to look at the schedule and see what else is out there.
Yeah, I'm going to probably be up at Fair Expo next month. And then, New York, of course, you guys in New York. And then, Luca. But then, I think that's it for me for the year. I mean, I'm still recovering from San Diego.
Yeah, I know, I saw that.
You know.
Yeah, I'll be up.
San Diego is not just a show. San Diego, you got 3 weeks of prep, before San Diego. And then it's the prep that kicks your ass. And then you got the prep, and then you got show itself, and then you got, after the show. And so it's almost like, but you had it was a week earlier this year. You had it the week after 4th of July, which was kind of weird because normally it's later in the month. So San Diego is all prep. If you don't have everything ready to go when you get there, you're gonna lose your ass because they raised the prices again this year. The booths have gone up, hotels have gone up, everything goes up, and you gotta go and you really gotta bring your A game in San Diego.
Definitely. See, I want to ask you an Alex question that's always, because I just started picking up back issues that he did covers for Kevin Smith's Green Hornet.
He did, yeah. He did a lot of that stuff with Dynamic Forces, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess him and Kevin settled their legendary feud that they had, or?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
I said, I guess they settled the feud that they had, or how did that come about?
Yeah, I don't, the feud that went so long ago, I think they had a feud 15 years ago.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, they're both opinionated guys, and I dealt with Kevin a little bit last year because he purchased a couple of the covers from us from the Batman. He couldn't have been a nicer guy. And I saw him at Comic-Con this year. I didn't talk to him, but I saw him. We were staying at the same hotel, and he looks terrific. I mean,
he lost so much weight.
Oh, he looks terrific. I mean, a lot of guys you see him and they say, "Oh, I lost weight," and you see him and they're kind of like, you go, "Yeah, okay." But in this case, I barely recognized him. I saw pictures before, but then when I ran into him in the lobby, I thought, "Wow, he did a great job losing 85 pounds." Trust me, I've been trying to lose weight, for 20 years, and it just doesn't want to work. So anybody that can lose 85 pounds, God bless them.
Definitely.
That's a lot of work, man. That's a lot of discipline. But no, I don't know. I mean, from what I understand, it just seems to be, it just kind of water under the bridge at this point. Everybody's kind of moved on. Kevin was very complimentary of Alex, the covers he did. I know Alex is a fan of Kevin's work. I don't know if it was taken out of context, but, be that as it may, I guess a feud is kind of water under the bridge at this point.
Alright, cool.
I guess it's all hugs and kisses now.
Sweet. Yeah, it's two of my favorite creators, so I was going for some of back issues then.
As much as it can be hugs and kisses. I don't think they hang out.
Yeah.
Go pick out curtains. But I know that any book that Kevin is on that Alex was contributing with, he knows going in that Kevin's a great writer. He likes his work in comics. Otherwise, Alex probably wouldn't have been on the project. But, in the small dealings I've had with Kevin, it's always been great.
And all the interaction I've had with Kevin over the years, couldn't be a nicer guy. I met Alex twice, and he couldn't be a nicer guy. He could not have been he was one of the most sweetest artists I've ever met.
Yeah, it's like, I guess we just get older. I think we start to appreciate this stuff more as we get older, and we realize that, maybe some kind of bullshit grudge you had over the years. I think as you get older, you realize a lot of that stuff is wasted energy.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all in the same business, and it's not like somebody, there was any malicious intent, but that people have a tendency to have opinions. People take emails and websites, people take shit the wrong way sometimes, and it builds, and then the next thing you know, people are talking, and years go by, and then you run into that, and you realize, what the hell were we mad about?
Yeah.
You can't even remember what you were originally pissed off about. And then when as you get older, you're like, I don't know, who's got the energy to worry about this shit?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so you just get to a point where, it's like, hey, you don't have to like people just to say, when you see the person go, hey, how's it going? You don't have to, it's not like we're going to make out.
Yep. How's your kids doing? I was just listening to episode 1500 of Comic Geek Speak, when, first, thank you for the laughter, because I have not laughed that hard in a while. And, second is the little wants to watching Randall Rossi videos.
Oh, man, my daughter, it's only gotten worse.
She's only gotten worse?
She's only gotten worse, man. She's always getting a run at school. She's always kicking something. Always kicking somebody's ass at school. It's not even funny. I mean, on one hand, she walks around dressed up as a princess. She's got this obsession over princesses, and then on the other hand, she's like constantly throwing, haymakers at her brother. And, telling me how to drive and everything else. But, that's like the cruel joke when you have kids.
See, I'm just thankful that I'm the uncle, and I get to give them back at the end of the babysitting tournament.
Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea what it's like. He's bitten by a vampire. I mean, especially because my son is the sweetest little guy. He's Mr. Daddy sensitive. And then when I had a girl, I thought, great, I'm out of the woods. And then my daughter turns out to be Luca Brasi from The Godfather. She's constantly threatening people, and they don't, let her play with her dolls. She's walking around with piano wire. It's a scary thing when I worry when she becomes a teenager, what the hell am I going to do?
You're going to run.
Well, I guess. They don't listen to me now. So when they become teenagers, I go home, I have a zero power, When they become teenagers, I don't know how they can listen to me any less than they listen to me now. Because they're already ignoring us. It's like you're invisible. I talk to myself. And now I know my father, he never even talked. Because you don't listen to your parents at a certain age. Only when you need shit. You need money, you need stuff. And that's like, then you're the nicest guy in the world. Well, you decide to have it's like my mother always used to warn me. She was like, you're going to pay for when you get older and you have your own kids. And you think it's a joke. But then when you get older, you realize they weren't kids.
No, I noticed that even babysitting my niece the other day. And she's like, crap, I know I'm only uncle, but maybe this is payback for me too for being such a miserable kid.
Yeah, no, it's like every generation goes through this, I guess, but it's a completely different world than the one we grew up in. And when you think about how much the world's changed in the last 20 years, with the phones and the internet and the computers and the, cable and the stuff that they have that we never had, you don't know what kind of world they're going to, they have access to so much more information than we ever did. And, now they're just, you don't have to go to the library, we just Google everything.
Yep.
If you want information on anything, you got to hit your fingertips instantly. Versus, remember, book reports and shit like that. You have to go to a library. What library? I don't even know what the hell that is anymore. You go to the library now, it's just on computers.
Yeah, rows of them too, with maybe one or two rows of books.
Just hope that they stay out of trouble, man. That's all I hope. But they stay out of trouble, they keep their nose clean. You got to be a little bit lucky, too, with kids, that they don't hang with the wrong crowd.
Yep.
And, you can have a good kid and if he hangs with the wrong pain in the ass, it's happened.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, again, you do as much as you can, I guess, to prepare them, for the bullshit they're going to encounter as they get older. But, I try to explain it to my wife. I said, look, kids are going to be kids too. Shit's going to happen. There's only so much you can do. And, they're going to get in trouble. They're going to knock shit over. They're going to get fights. They're going to, there's a lot of movies this summer that I just, with kids, I just don't have a chance to get to the show as much as I would like. I didn't see Ant-Man, I didn't see Mad Max. A lot of movies that people recommend that I just didn't get to see. But I always make a point to go see the Marvel and the DC stuff so that I know what people are talking about, and I should make a point to go see. I heard nothing but good things about Mad Max.
See, Mad Max I didn't see yet. Ant-Man I saw Friday night, and I liked it a lot more than I liked Avengers.
Yeah, I like to, I like to go, but it's the only way I can, you take the kids and it's like getting finished for some seal, man, when you gotta take kids to the show. It's just always about the popcorn, more, long, I go to the bathroom, and they don't sit still, and you can't even enjoy the movie. I took them to see the Inside Out Pixar, and, 20 minutes in, my daughter's, kicking the chair in front of her, I want to go, I need another box, I need another $40 box of popcorn, and I need, and you're just like, I want to go to the show, I want to watch the movie, and cost you $60 to take, your family to the show. So when there's a movie I really want to see, I sneak and I go by myself. That's the only way to see it. Like, if I go see Ant-Man, I gotta go by myself. Because if I take the family, it's like the mother of the invasion. Bullshit.
Yeah, let's see. I guess with the kids, you get to see Minions, and
I didn't see Minions. I gotta be honest, I'm not the biggest Minion fan, because, I've seen Bad, Despicable Me, I don't know how many times. I mean, with kid movies, you gotta kind of filter through the idea that you're gonna see this movie 50 times. So, it's great the first 7 or 8 times, and then after that, you're just like, I can't take it anymore. And they gave them their own movie, so I'm sure when it comes out on cable, I'll have to sit through it more times. But my daughter is, she's doing the princess right now, so it's Rapunzel, and it's Coke.
nice.
Coke, it's Frozen. That's a cult, man. That's like Scientology.
Actually, I actually think the worst channel at TV is the fucking Disney Channel. Yeah, my son at my brother's house 24/7 with his daughter, and all the shows look the same.
Disney actually not the worst of all. That's some of the stuff that's not. I don't even quite understand it anymore. Because I grew up with the Flintstones, but you've got Caillou and you've got SpongeBob. SpongeBob, I'm late to the party with SpongeBob. I mean, I guess SpongeBob's been around for more than 10 years, and my kids didn't jump on the SpongeBob bandwagon until about a year ago. And SpongeBob is like, I never realized how huge he was until you go to the con and you see this 2-story SpongeBob, display. And, how international it is, because my kids are really into SpongeBob now. I guess they're still really popular, because I know they have a big panel every year at Comic-Con.
Yep, and I actually did a one-man comic book convention in a movie theater lobby during the premiere weekend of the SpongeBob movie, and I could not move away from my table for anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, they have features now, and I know that one of the most popular panels every year in San Diego is the SpongeBob panel, because they have all the voice people and all the talent, and I don't even try to understand it anymore, but I know that it's a perpetual rerun now, and I'm sure that they're raking it in.
Definitely.
The SpongeBob merchandise is endless.
That it is. You still good buddies with us, Simone?
I'm sorry?
You still good buddies with us, Simone Bianchi?
With Simone?
Yeah, Simone.
Yeah, we don't talk as much as we used to. He's in Italy now, and he went to San Diego this year. but
he finally got married? Cool.
yeah, I see how much work he's doing at Marvel, and he's doing great stuff.
I love his stuff. I love Simone's stuff since his Batman work.
Yeah, he never disappoints with the stuff that he does. He always, he puts a lot of effort into it. And so I'm glad to see that he's still, finishing a lot of work with Marvel. And I know he just did some Star Wars stuff, and I think he's doing some interiors actually now for Star Wars. So, no, he's a good guy. This is the first year here in San Diego, I think, in about 5 or 6 years, so it's kind of strange. Not having him there.
Wow, that's good. I should shoot him a line. I haven't spoken to him in a couple years. We met at New York back in 2008 and stayed in touch. He's a really good...
Yeah, he's not as out there anymore as he used to be because he's a lot busier now with family. But he's still on Facebook, and I still see him, posting his work, and I know that Marvel's keeping him pretty busy. So he's a workaholic type of guy too, like Alex. I mean, they're guys that kind of define themselves through their work. So,
Yeah.
but no, he's a good guy. Not as
That's sweet.
I'm sure he'll be in New York.
So, because I recently just bumped into to Angel Medina, actually.
You want to know something? I ran into Angel for the first time in a long time. I saw him at Pizza Week this year. I saw him in the lobby in the hotel. And I got to tell you, it was the first time I saw Angel in a long time. He's kind of fallen off the concert. He doesn't do that many shows anymore. He does smaller shows. And I don't know what he does. I really don't. I mean, I talked to him for a little while, and I know he still keeps busy. And the guy's always been a tremendous talent. But I don't really know I don't see his name in the treatment catalog anymore. I'm doing regular work for anybody, but I know he keeps busy. I know he does a lot of commissions. I think he does private commission, and I'm sure he does really well. But yeah, I don't. So you said you've seen it?
I bumped him. I think it was some small show out in the Philly area that I saw him at.
Yeah, I know he does. I think it's a show up in Michigan. I think he does one up in Minnesota. He does every year in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And I know he does quite a bit of shows. I never run into him anymore because I don't see him at Comic-Con, and I don't see him in New York. And he did New York a few years ago, and then he stopped going. And no, we used to be really, really tight. And when you have a family, it's all consuming. It takes up all your free time. And I used to like to go to shows and hang out with the guys. I just don't have the time anymore. But the family, I can only afford to go to the con, do the con, and then come back because I got a lot of stuff here going on.
Yeah.
With my wife, my wife and I kind of we trade off who's picking. I'm like a professional taxi cab now.
I saw that. Because I know the other day you were saying you wish that if you had kids in the car, you wish you could have sirens.
Yeah, because they were always forgetting something, and I got to turn around and I got to go back, or somebody's going up in the car, or somebody needs to take a shit in the car. There's always something that's like an emergency while you're driving. And only people with little kids know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I wish I had to drive a police car and had kids, just so when somebody's going to crack the paint empty, you can get someone quick. Or when somebody's throwing up out the window, you have to make a U-turn and get home quick to somebody forgot the doll or something, bullshit like that. There's always some emergency. Somebody forgot, some kind of bullshit toy, or show and tell.
Yeah, because the other thing I said, I guess your daughter asked you if you left your brain in San Diego too?
Yeah, that's the kind of comments I get now. I'm a grown man, I gotta get talked to by a 4-year-old. Said I left my brain in San Diego. This is how 4-year-olds talk to you. Imagine when she's 16. She's gonna turn into Marilyn Chan neighbors when she's 16. I'm going to be stuck with that. You know, everybody wants to run out, but she, ain't going to throw away for Christ's sake. But my son, he's a nice guy. He's quiet. Believe it or not, he doesn't holler. He's very emotional. Throws himself on the floor when he doesn't get his way. And my daughter's the opposite. She wants to put you in a three-finger leg lock if she doesn't get, don't take her to the toy store. They want to go to the toy store. They don't even know why they want to go to the toy store. They say, I want to go to the toy store. And you go, well, what do you mean? There's something they need. I don't know. I just want to go. I don't know what I want, but I know I have to go. That's what they tell me. I'm like, okay. So you just basically become the ugly American consumer. That's what my kids have become.
Wow.
They just want to buy shit. They don't know what it is they want to buy. And my daughter uses them on the pony or something thing.
Yeah, it seems to be the Everhot commodity, like My Little Ponies.
Yeah, I see a lot of grown-ups into that, which I really don't understand.
Neither do I. Because I think I
don't even ask anymore, man.
It's okay. The state the world is in today, it's okay. If it makes you happy and you're not hurting anybody.
Right. That's how I feel. None of my business. I just go, yeah, great. And whatever it is you're into, good for you. I'm the same with comics. You never know what people are going to want and what they're not going to want anymore. And you just try to go with it. And, the more I know about this stuff, the less I understand it, because there's just certain things you think people are going to love, and then nobody cares. And then there's stuff that you're going to like and you can't figure out what the hell people are thinking. It's like Lawrence Welk. You're like, what the hell? The guy had a television show for 25 years and nobody can figure out why. But I know, he had a successful television show.
Yeah.
Nobody can figure it out.
Like I said, I can't understand why they have to renumber everything every 6 months over at Marvel, but I'm still.
Yeah, well, it's like why they just keep taking the existing characters and changing them, turning into different minorities. It's just like, why don't they just create new characters? Why do they have to constantly keep changing? This character now all of a sudden he's black. But your character now all of a sudden he's Puerto Rican. Why don't they just come up with entirely new characters? Unless you're just you're hanging on the old ideas. There's a shortage of ideas? I don't understand it. Now I heard the Lion is going to be that's your movie, and they changed them too, so I don't understand it. But I also grab the idea that a lot of this stuff, you want it the way it was when you grew up with this. Like with Luke Cage. I was a big Luke Cage guy growing up, and to me, Luke Cage is always the guy with the yellow shirt, with the headband, and the afro, and the sideburns. Spider-Man, 123 with the great Gil Kane cover.
That is a great cover.
Now he's going to be on Netflix. But I know it's not going to be the Luke Cage that I know. It's just going to be an unbald guy with combat tools. And that's what they do in a lot of characters now. They streamline them, and they turn them into something else. But I'm realistic that the characters are going to constantly, evolve into new things. But I can tell you, Happy Man, because I saw the Destroyer on screen. That was something that I never thought in a million years I would see. Because the Destroyer was always my favorite villain. And when I saw him on the screen, I thought, okay, whatever they do with this comic book shit from here on in, I could die a happy man because I saw the Destroyer on screen.
Well, see, I'm that same way now because I actually, for once, in the last 12, 13 years, I finally got a good Wilson Fisk. He was in the Netflix series. I was so happy to finally see him portrayed the way he was portrayed when I started reading him in the Frank Miller run.
Yeah. Well, you hope that there's some, the first Iron Man was like that. I never thought I would see the Iron Man. It's pretty close to what you're ever going to get. But also, just the fact that they take him seriously, I think, is what always bothers me about the Batman 66
Scotland Ant-Man. They make me go out being like, this is the best thing I've seen all year. I was just like, wow, I was blown away. And then I went back and I started reading all these Scotland Ant-Man comics I could find now.
Yeah, well, again, it's Kirby. I went back to Jack Kirby. I was always, I always felt that the guy was tremendously overlooked by a lot of people, when this stuff started to take off. I mean, everybody, and there's still people to this day that take Jack Kirby, they don't know what you're talking about it. I marvel at that, but
Baffles me.
you can have a conversation about comics and not talk about Jack Kirby. But,
that's like having a conversation about film and not talking about Scorsese.
Well, with Kirby, for me, though, with Jack Kirby knows everybody else. And people can argue with me all they want, but I'm like, guys, if I got to pick one guy, in the last 100 years, that I've had true American art form of comics, but Jack Kirby knows everybody else. And people will argue with you, they go, well, what about Wilder, Canada? No, guys, I'm not taking anything away from those guys. And I love, there were so many great artists and so many contributions, that people would have valid arguments for. But I think, guys, I'm saying for me, there's Kirby and there's everybody else. You can argue any way you want, but what would the comics world be without Jack Kirby?
Exactly. And
everything you see in touching comics, and we're not even talking about this sport world stuff, we can see. I'm just talking strictly at Marvel. So when people talk about Stan Lee, I'm like, no, I'm not saying that Stan Lee is great, but it's still words on a page. Somebody had to design those characters. Somebody had to show you what the Hulk looked like. Somebody had to tell you what Iron Man looked like. And I'm not taking anything away from Stan, but I'm just saying, I was always Jack Kirby guy.
Yeah, same here. And for me, there's just like three artists to me that define my love of the industry. It's like Jack Kirby, Frank Miller, and for modern times, possibly like McFarlane, because that's where my first Spider-Man I ever really read was a McFarlane Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's for people that want to talk about it as this is cool, but when they're talking about it as an art form, you have to look at what the contributions were of Jim Water, Bill Sienkiewicz, Neil Adams, Bill Kay, John Buscema, John Romita, again, Will Eisner, Mike Contino, Kurt Swan. There's a lot of tremendous art in the last 50 years, 70 years to be proud of as an American, because it's an American art form. When I go overseas, you see the popularity of comics overseas, because in France and Italy and Germany, you see the popularity of especially the iconic American characters. You realize that now I think we're missing a vulnerable because a lot of Americans miss the bone on comics. They don't realize what a true American art form it is. And it's still the only medium that's going to get your kids to read. The video games and with the iPads now and everything else, comics were what meets that need to sit down and actually read something.
Same here.
And it's like, I think we're missing that a little bit. They get it in Europe, because in Europe, they've got all kinds of comics. Superheroes are just a small part of comics in Europe. They've got westerns, they've got sci-fi. They romanticize the American life like crazy. And here, it's just more about, it's all about taste. It's all about superheroes. It's just great to get this stuff that I grew up loving, but the medium itself, here, I think most people, when you say comics, they think of it as kid stuff. And
which drives me crazy. But unfortunately, I think that's where the cookie crumbles a little bit on that.
Yeah, no, I understand it, but when people, my neighbor asks me, about Garfield, and I'm like, that, you don't understand when I'm in the comics, that'll be, there's nothing, a Sunday morning funnies kind of shit, and he asked me about Peanuts, I don't know about Peanuts, I don't know about Baby Huey and Little Lana, he says, I haven't read the comics, I love Kalani. And they're like, what?
And you're like, it's a Kalani?
What? What the fuck you talking about? What? I said, hey, what are you gonna do?
Yep. Alright, my friend, I'm going.
Listen, thanks a lot. I really appreciate your advice.
Like I said, thank you so much for doing this for me, and the next time around I'll have all my equipment figured out and have my girlfriend off the phone before you call in.
Yeah, good luck with everything. Like I said, just give me a holler if you need any sponsorship or anything like that.
Thank you so much, my brother, and we'll be in touch, and you have an open invitation to come on anytime you like, my friend.
Alright, take it easy.
Alright, take care.
Talk to you later.
Yep.
That was your. And there you have it, folks. That was my interview with Sal Baltanate from AlexRossArt.com, www.alexrossross.com, www.alexross.com. I'd like to thank my sponsor for this episode, B&J Bagels. 84 East Main Street, Ramsey, New Jersey, 07446 201 962 8600. I thank you all for being a loving, awesome sauce family. Keep one foot in the gutter, one fist in the gold. Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. Wyatt Adams saying, having a great night, and see you all tomorrow.
108:35. Cancel button. Stop recording button.